Wait, did you just say people with HIV can have sex safely? Oh yeah, you heard that right. HIV-positive doesn't mean love-negative. And no, we're not making stuff up. This is real science, not TikTok rumors. Welcome to the world of UU, undetectable. HIV untransmittable. Where love isn't dangerous, stigma is. Where HIV-positive doesn't mean love-negative, and where science gives us the tools to love loudly and safely. A game-changing fact that could save lives, save love, and maybe even change how you look at the world. Let's bust myths, fight fear with facts, and talk about sex like actual grown-ups. Stick around, because what you learn today might just change someone's life. Okay, so let's rewind. HIV, short for human immunodeficiency virus, is not just some ancient disease from the 80s. It's still around, it's still real, but it's also very treatable and way less scary than people think, if you understand it. HIV is a virus, but not the sneeze and cough type. This one's sneakier. It plays the long game. It targets your immune system, specifically your CD4 cells, the white blood cells that help fight off infections. You can think of CD4s like little bodyguards, and HIV is the ninja that takes them out one by one. Over time, if left untreated, HIV weakens your body so much that it can't fight off common stuff anymore. That's when it can lead to AIDS, acquired immunodeficiency syndrome. Let's clear something up right now. HIV is not AIDS. They are not the same thing. HIV is the virus. AIDS is the final stage of HIV when it's not treated. Thanks to modern meds, most people with HIV today never even get close to AIDS. HIV, virus AIDS, HER2 condition caused by untreated HIV. Now, here's where it gets real and personal. HIV isn't loud at first. It doesn't scream. It whispers. That's why it's so dangerous in the early stages. Let's walk through it. A lot of people think, if I had HIV, I'd know. Nope. HIV is the king of quiet. You can live for years without a single noticeable symptom. And during that time, the virus is slowly attacking your immune system. You could be going to the gym, passing finals, hooking up, looking great, and still have HIV and not know it. Stage 1. 2 to 4 weeks after infection. This is the moment HIV enters the body. Some people don't feel a thing. Others, it's like a nasty flu. Case story. Jordan, 22 years old, college student. Jordan had just broken up with his girlfriend and went to a party. One random hookup later, he started feeling like he caught a terrible flu. Fever, sore throat, chills, night sweats. Jordan, clip. I thought it was mono or something. I was super tired, I had ulcers in my mouth. I didn't think it was HIV. Who thinks that? Jordan had acute HIV. His body was reacting to the virus, but he didn't know that, and he wouldn't find out for another 6 months. Typical symptoms of the acute stage. Fever, chills, fatigue, swollen lymph nodes, mouth ulcers, rash, muscle aches. It's important to know that during this time, the virus is multiplying like crazy. It's super contagious. That's why testing regularly is so important, especially if you've had unprotected sex. Stage 2. Can last 10+ years. After the body adjusts, the virus hides out. You feel normal, maybe even great. But inside, HIV is still attacking your immune system, slowly, quietly. Visual. Body looks healthy on the outside. Inside, virus particles multiplying quietly. Case story. Maria, 31, mother of 2. Maria donated blood at a church event. A week later, she got a call she'll never forget. Maria, clip. They told me I tested positive for HIV. I thought it was a prank. I felt fine. I was raising my kids, going to work, never even got sick. Maria had been living in the latency stage for at least 5 years. She was unknowingly passing the virus to her husband. This stage is tricky. You can go years without a single symptom, but you're still infectious unless you're on treatment. Stage 3. AIDS, Advanced HIV. If HIV keeps destroying your immune system long enough, eventually it breaks it. This is when you develop AIDS. CD4 count drops below 200, or you get one of the AIDS-defining illnesses, like Kaposi sarcoma, TB, or pneumonia. Case story. Raymond, 49. Former nurse. Raymond lost his job, insurance, and eventually access to care. He stopped taking his ART pills. Within a year, he had full-blown AIDS. Raymond's share. I developed PCP pneumonia. I was in the hospital for 2 weeks, couldn't walk, couldn't breathe. They told me I might not make it. But he did. He got back on ART, and 3 years later, his viral load is undetectable. You can't tell by looking at someone. You can't guess by how they act. The only way to know is to get tested. That's why testing matters. You could look fine, feel fine, and still be infected. That's why testing is key. Get tested if you're sexually active, especially if you've had unprotected sex, a new partner, shared needles, any STI symptoms. Story. Devin, 18. My classmate got tested, so I did too. Devin's friend got tested at a campus event. He went along for moral support. Turned out Devin was positive. Devin shares, I was mad at first. Like, how? I only slept with 2 people. But I started treatment right away. My friend getting tested literally saved my life. Get tested. It's private, it's fast, and it could save your life. Free and low-cost testing is available at Planned Parenthood, LGBTQ+ centers, campus health clinics, Walgreens and CVS in some states, mobile testing vans. Testing options. Rapid finger prick test, results in 20 minutes. Lab test, more sensitive, can detect earlier. Oral swab tests. Home test kits. Let's squash another myth. HIV is not a death sentence. In fact, people with HIV today who take their meds can live just as long as anyone else. RT isn't a cure, but it suppresses the virus so much that it can't be detected and can't be passed on. That's where UU comes in. Modern RT treatment. 1 pill a day in most cases. Few side effects. Affordable with insurance or assistance. Life-saving and love-saving. Case story. Lexi, 28, musician. Lexi was diagnosed at 19. She didn't tell anyone for 2 years, afraid of rejection. When she finally opened up to her partner, he said, So, you take your meds. I take mine. We're good. Lexi shared, He loved me through it. We use PrEP and condoms sometimes, but mostly we trust the science. Okay, now let's talk prevention. Whether you're negative and want to stay that way, or positive and want to protect others, this part matters. Welcome to PrEP. PrEP stands for pre-exposure prophylaxis. It's a once-daily pill, or a bi-monthly shot, that helps HIV-negative people stay HIV-negative. It works by blocking HIV from taking hold in your body if you're exposed. It's kind of like the birth control pill, but for HIV prevention. Sexy and safe. PrEP. Pre-exposure prophylaxis. If you're HIV negative but have sex with someone who's positive, or if you're at high risk, PrEP is your best friend. Daily pill or injection every 2 months. FDA approved, up to 99% effective when taken daily. Comes as a pill or long-acting injectable. Available at clinics, health centers, and LGBTQ+ programs. Who should consider PrEP? PrEP isn't just for one kind of person. If you fall into any of these categories, it might be worth a convo with your doc. You don't always use condoms. You have a partner who is HIV positive, you have multiple sexual partners, you inject drugs or share needles, you're in a community with high HIV rates. Story. Maya, 25. I wanted to date without fear. Maya is a nurse dating again after a long relationship. She's HIV negative, but she knows her stuff. Maya. I meet people. I have fun. and I don't want to have that anxiety in the back of my head all the time, so I take PrEP. She still uses condoms with new partners, still asks questions, but with PrEP, she says, Maya, it feels like I've got a safety net. I'm still in control of my body, my choices, and my health. Like any medication, PrEP can come with mild side effects like nausea or headache, but for most people, they go away after the first week or two. It's safe, it's well studied, and there's a whole generation of people living boldly because of it. PrEP has been especially powerful in LGBTQ+ communities, where HIV risk has historically been higher. But guess what? PrEP is for everyone. Your gender, orientation, or relationship status doesn't disqualify you from protecting yourself. There are free and low-cost programs across the U.S. that can help cover the medication and even the doctor visits. Ready, Set, PrEP, government program, local health departments, LGBTQ+ centers, campus clinics. PrEP puts you in control. It gives you the tools to love boldly, to explore without fear, and to protect what matters most, your health. PAP, post-exposure. Prophylaxis. Had a risky exposure? Maybe the condom broke or you forgot. If you act within 72 hours, PEP can stop HIV before it starts. 28-day medication course. Must start ASAP after exposure. Available in ERs, urgent care, and some pharmacies. Other tools. Condoms still work. Get tested every 3 to 6 months if you're sexually active. Communicate with your partners. Here's the truth. HIV isn't just a virus, it's a mirror. It reflects how we treat each other, how we judge, how we love. Case story. Isaiah, 17, high school senior. Isaiah was bullied after someone leaked his status, but he didn't crumble. He spoke at his school assembly and said, Isaiah shared, I'm not broken, I'm not dirty, I'm just a kid with a condition who wants to live, and love, and help others. That speech went viral. His bullies, they apologized. People like Isaiah, Maria, Raymond, Lexi, they're not victims. They're heroes. They remind us that science saves lives, but compassion heals hearts. Undetectable, untransmittable, U U. All right, folks, get ready for the plot twist of the century, and probably the most misunderstood fact about HIV today. Ready? Deep breath. If you're living with HIV and you take your medication consistently, the virus in your blood can become so low, it's undetectable. And when HIV is undetectable, it's untransmittable. UND, undetectable. U, untransmittable. Translation, if it can't be found, it can't be shared. Yup, no passing it during sex, not even a little. That's right, a person with HIV who is on ART, takes their meds every day, and reaches undetectable status cannot transmit HIV to their sexual partners. Period, zero, nada. Studies show 0 transmissions from people who are undetectable. Sources: Partner 1, Partner 2, HPTN 052 studies. Real talk. Is UU just a slogan? Nope, this isn't a marketing gimmick, this isn't wishful thinking. This is peer-reviewed, globally confirmed science. So in 3 major international studies with thousands of couples, some gay, some straight, not a single person with an undetectable viral load transmitted HIV to their partner. Not one. Real story. Alex and Rena. A love that didn't end with HIV. Alex met Rena at a summer music festival in California. 2 weeks in, he sat her down and said something most people wouldn't have the guts to. Alex shared, I told her I'm HIV positive, and I held my breath. Rena didn't freak out. She asked questions, and together they researched UU. Now they're engaged. She's HIV-negative. They don't use condoms all the time. They trust the science. They trust each other. Rena shared, he's undetectable. He's not dangerous, he's just mine. So, how does this work? The superhero in this story is ART, antiretroviral therapy. Imagine your body is a house. HIV? It's a thief. A sneaky, persistent thief that breaks in and destroys your security system, your immune system. Now, ART, that's your security camera system, your motion detectors, your laser tripwires. It won't kick the thief out completely, but it'll trap him in the basement, powerless to move. That's what ART does. It keeps HIV so controlled that it can't do damage and can't spread. From then to now, the evolution of ART 1980s, dozens of giant pills a day, harsh side effects 1990s, cocktail therapy, still multiple pills 2000s, combination pills appear 2020s, one pill a day, or even a long-acting injection every 2 months. Today's ART is like having Wi-Fi signal blocking the virus. If you stay on treatment, HIV can't move. Real story. Chris, 56, diagnosed in 1989. Chris was one of the first wave of survivors, diagnosed back when being HIV positive meant preparing to die. Chris shared, "Back then, doctors said I had 18 months. I lost friends, jobs, everything. But I kept showing up, kept taking the meds, even when they made me sick." Today, Chris is thriving. He runs marathons. He mentors teens living with HIV. He volunteers at a clinic. Chris shared, "Art gave me a second life. Now I use it to help others find theirs." How does art work? It blocks HIV from copying itself. It reduces viral load to undetectable levels. It protects the immune system. It prevents transmission, UU. ART doesn't kill the virus completely, but it puts HIV into deep hibernation. When taken daily, ART brings the viral load down so low that it doesn't show up on standard blood tests. Pop-up fact, undetectable. Wow, viral load below 200 copies, ml. But most tests can't detect below 20 to 50 copies, ml. Think of it like the virus getting stuck in a cave with no signal. It can't text, it can't travel, it can't do anything. And here's the deal. ART only works if you take it consistently. Every single day. Story. Layla, 21, skipped her meds for a month. Layla was 19 when she got diagnosed. She was scared, felt ashamed, and started taking her ART. But life got busy. She moved for college, forgot pills. Then she just stopped. Layla shared, "I felt fine. I didn't think missing a few days mattered. Then I got this weird cold that wouldn't go away. My doctor ran tests and said my viral load had spiked. My immune system was taking a hit." She got back on treatment. She's undetectable again. But that scare reminded her, this is a lifelong commitment. What happens if you stop taking ART? HIV rebounds fast. Your CD4 count drops. You become contagious again. You increase your risk of AIDS. Skipping meds is like letting the thief out of the basement and leaving the door wide open. What about condoms? Should we still use them? Short answer, it's up to you. If you or your partner are undetectable, you're safe from HIV. But condoms still protect against other STIs like chlamydia, gonorrhea, and syphilis. So, yeah, wrap it up if you're worried about more than just HIV. Or talk with your partner. Adulting is sexy. Real story. Dr. Levi, infectious disease specialist. Dr. Levi has been treating HIV patients for 15 years. He's seen the transformation firsthand. Dr. Levi shared, "Back in the early 2000s, people were still dying of AIDS. Now, I've got patients with HIV who are healthier than people without it, because they're taking care of themselves, doing their checkups, living responsibly." He also talks about the emotional impact of UU. Dr. Levi shared, "You should have seen my patient Mike. When I told him he was undetectable and couldn't pass the virus anymore, he cried. He said, 'I finally feel like I'm not poison.'" That's what UU really means. It's not just about science. It's about freedom. It's about love, dignity, being able to live your life without fear of hurting someone you love. So, if this info is so groundbreaking, why aren't more people screaming UU from rooftops? Because stigma is loud, misinformation is everywhere, and some folks are still stuck in 1993. Real story, Malik, 20, recently diagnosed. Malik learned he had HIV after getting tested during a campus event. He thought his dating life was over. Malik shared, "My friend was like, 'Yo, don't you have to tell everyone before you hook up?' I didn't even know what to say." But when he learned about UU, everything changed. Malik shared, "I realized I wasn't broken. I just had something to manage, like asthma or diabetes. I started dating again. I just told people the truth, and let the science back me up." Let's clear up some common myths. Welcome to UU Mythbusters. Lightning Round Edition. Q. Can someone with HIV give you the virus if they're undetectable? Nope. Q. Is UU the same as being cured? No, the virus is still there, but it's locked down. Q. Do you still need to take your meds if you're undetectable? Yes, every single day. Q. Can UU help fight stigma? Oh, heck yes. Imagine growing up thinking no one could love you. Imagine being afraid of every touch, every kiss, every confession. Now imagine someone looking at you and saying, "You're safe. You're undetectable. I trust you." That's what UU is about. It's not just a medical status. It's a second chance. Can you love someone with HIV? Can you kiss them, date them, marry them, have babies with them? Yes, 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 and yes. Let's talk about love. You know what's actually dangerous? Fear. Fear keeps people from learning, from loving, from living. Being HIV positive doesn't mean someone is reckless or scary or broken. It just means they've got a virus. That's it. And guess what? Viruses don't define people. People living with HIV can and do love deeply. They kiss, they marry, they have families, and thanks to modern medicine, they can do all that safely. Story. Jamal and Tyler. He was honest with me. On our third date, Jamal had been single for 3 years. He was HIV positive and undetectable, taking his meds every day, living a completely normal life. But every time he got close to someone new, he'd freeze up. Jamal shared, "I always felt like I had to drop this truth bomb and just brace for rejection." But then he met Tyler. They vibed immediately. Music, food, goofy sense of humor. On their third date, Jamal sat him down. "Jamal," I said, "there's something I need to tell you. I'm HIV positive, but undetectable. That means I can't transmit the virus." Tyler. He was shaking, like legit nervous. But to me, that honesty, that was more attractive than anything. Today, they've been together for 2 years. Tyler remains HIV negative. They travel, they hike, they cook together. And yeah, they have sex without fear. The science makes it possible. We already know, if someone with HIV is undetectable, they cannot transmit the virus through sex. That includes vaginal, oral, and anal sex. It's backed by science. So yes, you can love someone with HIV without getting HIV. Let that sink in. Story. Grace and Michael. We wanted kids, and we have 2. Grace was diagnosed with HIV at 24. She had gotten it from a previous partner who never told her he was positive. After a couple of really rough years of shame and silence, she started dating again. Then came Michael. Grace share. He didn't blink when I told him. He just asked, "What do we do next?" They got married. But the real test came when they decided to start a family. Michael? We talked to a doctor about how to have kids safely. She was on treatment, her viral load was undetectable, and I took PrEP. Today, they have 2 children, both HIV negative. Michael is negative. Grace is healthy and undetectable. Grace. Our love isn't fragile, it's informed. Let's be honest, there's still a lot of stigma floating around out there. People still make jokes, still assume things, still whisper behind backs. But let's get real. Kissing doesn't spread HIV. Sharing a drink doesn't spread HIV. Living with HIV doesn't mean you're irresponsible, and being afraid of someone just because of their medical status, that's not caution, that's ignorance. A teen's perspective. Sarah, 17. Sarah found out her classmate Brandon was HIV positive. Rumors flew. People stopped talking to him. Kids called him AIDS boy in the hallway. But Sarah, she got curious. Sarah Share. I asked him about it. He explained how he takes meds and his viral load is undetectable. I was like, wait, you're safer than people who don't even get tested? She and Brandon ended up doing a class project together on sexual health and stigma. They won a statewide competition. Love isn't canceled by HIV. It's informed, it's protected, and it's beautiful. Let's bust more myths than your ex's lies. Game show style. Rapid fire round. Q1. Can you get HIV from kissing? Buzzer. False. Unless someone's bleeding from the mouth and bites you like Dracula. No. Saliva doesn't spread HIV. Q2. What about toilet seats? Buzzer. False. You're more likely to win the lottery while getting struck by lightning than get HIV from a toilet. Q3. Can you hug someone with HIV? Buzzer. False. Please hug your friends. It's free and safe. Q4. Can sharing food give you HIV? Buzzer. False. You cannot get HIV from pizza or spoons or water bottles. Chill. Why these myths stick around? They're old, they're based on fear, and they come from an era before we understood the science. But we're not in 1986 anymore. We've got Wi-Fi, we've got TikTok, and we've got real facts. Let's replace fear with facts. Here's what can transmit HIV. Unprotected sex with someone who's not undetectable. Sharing needles. Mother to child during childbirth or breastfeeding. But even that is preventable with AART. Blood-to-blood contact, like transfusions without proper screening, but this is super rare in the US. Quick recap. Kissing, no transmission. Sharing food, nope. Hugs, no, not even close. Using a bathroom after someone with HIV, no. 100% safe. What isn't safe? Ignorance. We've talked about the virus. Now let's talk about the truth. HIV is not a punishment. It's not a scarlet letter. It's a virus, and thanks to modern medicine, it's one we can beat. With UU, PrEP, and a whole lot of compassion, people living with HIV can love, thrive, and live full, fearless lives. And the only thing that's contagious here should be kindness. HIV and U education, empowerment, love, love. So share this video. Start a convo. Break the silence. Because at Sit Here with Teenagers, smart is the new sexy. Subscribe for truth, not taboos. Share it. Someone out there needs this.